Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Energy Update. With me, Rebecca Meisel. These updates are where I channel my guides and any sort of important messages for this week ahead, as well as tune into the energetic themes that are happening on a collective level. So please enjoy these next themes as we move forward. We have some really interesting ones coming forward for us. I do apologize, I'm coming at you a little bit later in the week than usual. I took some time off this week to really enjoy my holidays and family time and just to be present. So thank you for your patience as I finally release this reading now midweek, but still wanted to get this to you. So did some channeling, really excited to move in. So let's see what came through for us. So this week we have a lot around moving forward in our authentic life path and really coming to this awareness of aligning and coming to these areas of recognition where things might not be aligned and where we need to make some course corrections. So one of these big themes that was really prevalent this week that we might see scattered through the next few days is this kind of ungroundedness. And this can really happen sometimes when we're really busy and we're taken out of our regular schedule, or we've been a little bit, out of schedule is kind of what I'm hearing. So for a lot of us, we're just needing to get back into our daily groove, into this more grounded energy again. So grounding was really coming in here strong because immediately as I started channeling, I was getting a lot of messages and themes around anxiety and around stress and around preparing for the worst case scenarios. And a lot of times this can come through for us even when it comes to our family members or seeing people we haven't seen in maybe a few years. And maybe that's still coming through for us this week. Maybe we have a full week of, visiting and seeing people we haven't seen. And sometimes there can be these awkward instances that happen with that, especially if there's people we haven't seen for quite some time, and maybe there's been stress or distance or tension in certain relationships. And this was really coming through for the select few of us who really kind of battle with that, really connecting and being our authentic selves regardless of who we are around. So this was really prevalent. So what was coming through here was preparing for the worst, not trusting your gut, and seeing what no longer serves. So what came through for us was releasing this need to judge and to sacrifice. So what channeled was just be you. Embrace solitude and gentleness. You don't need to get along with everyone, but see where you are safeguarding separation in your heart. So this was super interesting. So maybe this is something that has already come to pass, and we kind of had this awareness of where it's like, wow, I just feel like I couldn't relax at Christmas dinner, or I couldn't just be my authentic self around certain family members or certain individuals. And maybe this is continuing for us. Maybe we're just noticing where we're not fully aligning with other people. And that can be really hard because we can have this immediate instinct that we need to separate ourselves, that we need to remove ourselves and have boundaries. And yes, boundaries are so very well needed, and that's really being specified here. But what was really coming through is letting go of this need to be uncomfortable, letting go of this need to separate and come to this oneness aspect, even with individuals that we might not fully align with or get along with super well. So we needed to really think about where we are judging this week, where we are putting in that judgment of like, well, they're different from me. They don't believe the same things as me. I don't feel safe and comfortable around these people. And really kind of recognizing that this might just be that bit of uncomfortability as we really step into our authentic power and really start coming into our own. Because especially for someone who's had a lot of people pleasing in the background or have had a lot of those tendencies growing up, this can be especially uncomfortable, where it's like, okay, I just feel like I need to cater, but I'm really trying to put myself first and really have my own opinions. And so we're finding this kind of meet in the middle, this kind of like area where we can still be ourselves no matter who we're around, no matter where we are, what the environment is, we're still ourselves. we're still able to be in our power and not cater to others, but also have this beautiful meeting point of peace and oneness, and this understanding that not everybody has to believe the same things as you. Not everybody has to be on the same level as you. Not everybody has to be where you think they need to be. Maybe they are doing their journey. And so what was really coming forward was this acceptance and this coming to peace moment where it's like, wow, okay, going forward, I want to maintain my peace. Going forward, I want to maintain this beautiful commitment to myself where I'm not going to compromise my integrity, where I'm not going to, shy away because of uncomfortability as well, right? And having this coming into yourself moment and really getting this awareness this week of where we've actually been holding on to this belief of separation. So once more, it can be a defense and protection that we put up by putting a barrier between us and other people that don't understand or don't see you or value you the way you wish you were seen and valued. But that being said, we're removing this veil this week. So be very mindful of where this has come up for you, perhaps through the holidays, or is coming forward for you this week. And just have that moment of reflection. Where do I need to remove separation? Where do I need to come to this common ground and release any judgment and practice non-judgment moving forward, and including that release of judgment from the heart space, right? I don't need to protect myself anymore. I am safe. I am my own best friend. Even if things are uncomfortable, I am becoming love in my life. I am embodying love in my life. So we're having this beautiful awareness that's coming in. So what came through next was breathe life into joy and positivity, making the best of all situations with gladness. Be your untamed self. So practicing this freedom this week. How can we be free to be ourselves even in uncomfortable situations? How can we be free to be ourselves even around others who don't approve of us or don't understand us? And how can we stay focused on channeling our energies into positivity, into faith, into joy, into that happy bubble of bliss, right? This was really coming through here. So it's like, make that intention this week. If you're seeing people this week, if you're going to be around individuals that you're not normally around and you're feeling uncomfortable, set that intention that you're going to have your bubble of bliss, that no matter what happens, you're going to be yourself and you're going to allow this experience to unfold for you and let it be for you, right? So what came through here was a test in authenticity. How much can you lean into yourself despite discomfort? Stop avoiding. Discomfort brings growth. Address the elephant in the room. Break down barriers with vulnerability. Remain steadfast and true to you. How true can you be to you? Okay, so such a beautiful reminder this week. And even if this has already come to pass, just to reflect on, right? Like, how true was I to myself this week? Even if I was around others that don't approve of me or others that I feel uncomfortable with, give yourself some time this week to do that reflection. Where did we feel uncomfortable? Where did we, feel that need to cater or please or change? And where can we follow through in authenticity, right? So this was a little bit of that test that was coming through for us sometimes, especially around others who don't align typically with our belief systems. So how much can you lean into yourself despite discomfort? So this is very interesting. I loved how they brought out this point of stop avoiding, because a lot of times that's what we do. We avoid discomfort. We want to avoid being even in those situations. And this is something that sometimes I catch myself doing, where it's like, well, no, I need to have boundaries. I need to avoid any situation that puts me in a compromising position or where I feel uncomfortable. And sometimes that can actually go to the negative effect where we're no longer embracing moments of challenge, where we're no longer embracing these moments where we can really prove to ourselves, hey, I'm going to remain steadfast in myself. Hey, I'm going to remain in my faith. I'm going to remain in my joy. And sometimes we need these moments to really see how far we've come and really test our resolve of how committed we are. So we had such a huge theme of that last week, of remaining committed and creating an environment of love, instead of letting the environment control us. So really, allow yourself to go through that and go, okay, yeah, this helped me grow. This helped me see where I maybe still am uncomfortable, or where I still need to embrace myself further, and practice that space of non-judgment. I love it so much. So moving forward from that theme, we have this beautiful theme that was very dominant this week of seeing our innocence. So there's a lot about removal of shame this week. There's a lot around these themes of deservingness and opening up that heart space even further. And I really want to point out that these messages might be very specific to certain individuals. So please take care what resonates for you. But what I really find for these next messages that channeled, they were so beautiful and can transcend just these specific areas. So really take what resonates this next little bit and leave what does not. All right. So what was really coming through this week was seeing our innocence, removal of shame and stigmas that have plagued you. You have come to free yourself. You have come to loosen the chains on humanity. Continue to walk the way of love. Others will follow. So what was really coming through here, and I'm going to give you a scenario this week. Maybe we were around individuals that, maybe we hold some guilt with, or we feel ashamed around. And that can really happen with certain individuals we've had these past histories with. And I'm going to give you that example of, say, parents that really had a specific goal for your life in mind. And maybe you took a different path. Maybe you decided to do something completely different and they didn't approve. So you have that feeling of shame, okay? You have that feeling of guilt, like, oh man, I feel like I didn't, own up to what they wanted me to be, and maybe we are feeling these little feelings come up. And so what was really coming through was this clearing of this freedom that starts happening as we step into our aligned self, as we start walking this path of love. So we had this recognition really coming in this week of how we need to remind ourselves of what we're here to do. And sometimes what we're here to do, what our soul has chosen to do in this lifetime, can really go against the grain, right? And we have to recognize that even if we're going against the grain, doesn't mean we're worthy of shame or worthy of carrying guilt because we didn't follow the path of everyone else. And we have to come to this awareness of pride in ourselves and really connect with this destiny within our hearts. So realize you have come here to break the cycles. You have come here to free yourself from all these patterns of shame, of all these patterns of pain and ancestral trauma, past life trauma. You are doing that. For a lot of us, this is what we're doing. We're choosing to break these patterns, okay? You've come to loosen the chains on humanity. So once again, they're really bringing forward how pivotal this is in our journey, because so many of us are making huge progress, huge strides for humanity, right? Not just ourselves, but for the planet, for those around us. Every action we take in love, that is one less action that we're putting out of pain, of hate, of suffering, of continuing the old story. Every time we take another step forward in breaking those chains and creating a new life, a foundation of love, that echoes and ripples out to this world. So they're really bringing this awareness to us this week. Like, don't shame your journey because it's different than someone else's. Don't carry guilt for not fulfilling what others' expectations were of you. recognize what you are doing, right? Recognize that as you continue to choose love, and as you continue to choose yourself in your authentic path, you are showing others the way. So they're showing me this bold and courageous warrior, this leader for life. And people are watching you, right? Sometimes we do not even notice the impact we're making on other people in our lives, right? And I just keep hearing, like, to remind everyone this week of how powerful what you're doing is. And I feel like this is continuing this momentum the past few weeks. Like, remind yourself, look at your journey, pause, reflect, see what you're doing. Do not lose sight of the impact you are making in this world by choosing yourself, by choosing this path of love and living in your joy and living in your purpose and fulfillment. See that as not selfish. See that as beauty being bestowed upon the world. So it's this beautiful recognition and this new perspective that's really carrying forward this week, and we need to have this reminder, okay? Continue to walk the way of love. Others will follow. See the effects of your inner work and how it has helped others. Liberate yourself and keep liberating yourself from shame and guilt. Okay? So they really wanted to talk a lot about money this week, a lot about finances. And once again, take what resonates here, because this transcends perhaps just finances, but also other areas of our lives where shame or guilt might have been manifesting in our physical world. Okay, so just bear that in mind where this is going to resonate for you. But they really were bringing this example of money blocks this week, coming to awareness. Okay, so money blocks, deservingness. Okay, this was huge. How this parallels with deservingness. And what I felt as they were bringing this message forward was this big weight that was on my shoulders being completely lifted. Okay, so what came through was awareness to self-punishment and debts. Why am I creating scenarios that make me feel this way? That make me feel undeserving, that make me feel less than, that make me feel shame or guilt. Connect events and situations in your life with the feelings they generate. Where else do I feel ashamed in my life? Where am I not free to be me? Bring awareness to your flaws and love them anyway. Okay, so this was super critical and very eye-opening. Okay, so this week we're getting this very big perspective of where we've held on to shame and where that has been actually manifesting certain scenarios in our external reality that are mirroring back this feeling of shame and of unworthiness. So when we have a deep-seated belief, we know that those things are going to affect our vibration. We know that those things are going to trickle out and manifest in other ways. So this is where we need to be very mindful of what our 3D world is mirroring to us about what we really believe. So this is deep stuff. This is deep stuff that we might need to take some time out to do some introspection with this week, okay? So where am I self-punishing? So an example of this, debt, right? A lot of times we accumulate debt. A lot of times we have money issues. A lot of us do, especially in times like these. A lot of us have money on the mind. A lot of us are budgeting. A lot of us are becoming aware, okay, what are my funds like? And I feel like there's been so much more awareness about money management the past few years that have been really coming to the surface where, common people now, we're getting this education. We're starting to get more of this. Oh, okay, I got to be mindful of this. I got to be thinking about this in the future and blah, 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 blah. But with this, sometimes comes this awareness of shame around money because a lot of us aren't there yet. Okay, so we're going to use this example. Say we have debt. Say we're just scraping by. Say we're working our little booties off and we're still not where we want to be. This can generate shame. This can generate this feeling of undeservingness and propel this in our reality. So what we need to be aware of this week is where our external is really mirroring that to us. So if we feel shame around finances, if we feel shame around being who we are, a lot of times we're going to see this mirrored back, and these situations are going to try to trigger that same emotion. So really be mindful this week. What is my external mirroring to me? And where are these emotions very familiar? Where are they a pattern, right? So as an example, if you're ashamed to be yourself, if you don't feel deserving, then have you been met time and time again with situations that only perpetuate that same belief in you? Have you seen the cycle in your life where you meet certain individuals that make you feel ashamed? Do you perpetuate this belief system in your money and in your finances? Are your finances perpetuating shame in you, right? Where are these things really triggers for healing? So this week we need to be aware of this. Connect events and situations with that feeling. What feeling are these situations consistently triggering in me? Right? Where else do I feel ashamed in my life? And where am I not free to be me? Right? When we have a debt, it means we owe someone or something, and it holds us back, right? We're not free. So what is that scenario likewise showing you? I am indebted. Right? Who am I indebted to? Where am I holding myself back? Where am I staying in a state of debt rather than freedom? Right? And they're showing me the chains, right, around us, binding us. So we really need to have this awareness where we're still creating that in our vibration. And we can change that vibration. We can change the story. We can change our perspectives. So what's really coming through is bring this awareness to where we've been making this mistake, this seemingly mistake, okay? And forgiving ourselves for it. Being like, okay, yeah, I have debt. Yep, I do. Or yep, I have this situation going on in my life that I'm not proud of. And we have to come to this acceptance of it. An acceptance of our flaws, of our mistakes, of what we didn't do in our minds correctly. And we need to free ourselves from the guilt of that mistake, the guilt and shame that these events triggered in us. So where do we need to go in and feel how we feel? And liberate ourselves from these feelings of unworthiness. Just because you made a mistake doesn't mean you need to continue to punish yourself. Just because you have debt doesn't mean you're not worthy of ever being free of debt. Does not mean you're unworthy of having a fulfilling and loving and wonderful, prosperous, abundant life. Just because you have these things going on now does not mean that you will continue to. But we need to stop telling ourselves that same story and feeding that feeling of shame, because it's only perpetuating it and making it bigger and bigger than it really is. So the universe is going, what is this event telling you? What is the hidden message beneath the surface of your problems? Could it be this subconscious belief that you deserve punishment, that you don't deserve to live your best life, that you don't deserve to be free. And in essence, could this actually be a self-defense mechanism? A little mind-blowing, isn't it? How sometimes we actually create and perpetuate seemingly negative scenarios out of protection for ourselves. But this week, we're having the veil removed. We're seeing clearly. We're needing to see the deep-rooted feelings that we've suppressed and deep-seated lies that we've been taught or told or believe, and remove them from the root. Okay, you deserve to live your best life. You deserve to live a life without being in debt, without being in this guise of shame and guilt. You deserve to be free to be yourself. All right, this is what's loving for us. When we set intentions to live a love-based life, we're going to have awareness brought to our attention. We're going to have these things brought to our attention where we are actually hurting ourselves, where we're not loving ourselves, where we're not in alignment with a love-based life. So really give yourself grace this week. Give yourself love this week and compassion for those mistakes. Okay? Bring awareness to your flaws and love them anyway. Right? This is the person we're wanting to be. Is someone who forgives, someone who is loving, someone who is supportive. So this is what we're being asked to do. This week we have a lot of showing up for ourselves, doing the work, and allowing ourselves to be tested in it, right? This might be testing for us. It might be triggering. It might be uncomfortable. But this is where the growth happens. This is where change is made. And we're making these changes now so we can start living a life of love now, right? So what came through was fill your love cup. And then affirmations were coming through. I am deserving. I forgive myself. I am willing to change. I am willing to be flexible in my attitudes and beliefs. Okay? Now what came through was, where have I been too harsh? Where have I been too critical on myself? Where do I need to leave the old story behind? Forgiveness is needed. See yourself as the innocent child you are and have always been. Okay? So what came through was the suggestion of creative brainstorming. Finding solutions to long-standing problems, right? How can I change the pattern? So once we've uncovered this pattern of where we've been in self-punishment or where we've been in self-shame and guilt, then we need to pull it from the root. Okay, let's get rid of it. How can we get rid of this toxic cycle? So this is where we need to brainstorm. This is where we need to have this awareness, okay? Now, I was like, how can we do this? This is what came through. What attitude do I need to adopt to make this change? Then they made me feel a pain in my knee. That really reflects flexibility. So whenever they make me feel things in the knee, it's like, where am I inflexible? Where have I got a locked knee? Where am I too stiff? I'm not moving freely. So where do we need to have more flexibility? Where have I been inflexible in my attitudes and beliefs towards myself, towards this pattern? Where do I need to adopt a new attitude? Where do I need to make change? Next came through was self-criticism. Stop judging your every move. Less questioning, more trusting. Take the leap into trust. All will be revealed as it's supposed to. So once again, they're really bringing this awareness of where we keep criticizing ourselves. We keep scrutinizing our every thought, move, and action. And we need to shift this. We need to come to this awareness that we're a human being. We can only do so much. We can't predict the future. We can't always know every move and calculate what's the safest thing. We have to trust. We have to surrender at certain points in our journey. So once we've done this inner work, once we've brainstormed some creative solutions, once we've let go and we're allowing our attitudes to be flexible, we need to let go of this need to criticize and believe that we need to have everything figured out. Okay? Trust your journey. Trust that the universe is going to reveal to you everything you need to know in divine timing. So what came through from this was rest. Take breaks. And then I heard Rome wasn't built in a day. Use common sense and stop denying yourself a hopeful future. So we might have a bit of this defeatist attitude that wants to come in as well this week. So once again, we might have things that test us, that make us uncomfortable, that make us feel like, wow, this is the end of the world. Things are much worse than I thought. Or, oh, wow, this is really a big belief system I have to overcome. And we're making things bigger than they are. And that's what's really coming through here. They're like, no. Own your power. Do not give in to defeatist attitudes and beliefs. This is where we need to adjust our mindsets, our perspectives. Right, this is just a temporary problem that I'm facing and it's helping me grow. And I'm grateful for it because I'm going to end this cycle. This isn't going to happen continuously now. I'm ending and closing this chapter off. Okay, so from here it was believe in yourself. Believe in your capability. You can do so much more than you know. Okay, you can do so much more than you know. So we're really getting this awareness to our resiliency this week, our power this week. And yes, we're going to be tested in it, but follow through. Okay, so once again, they're giving us these beautiful solutions, these beautiful ideas. So we're having this awareness to the path before and seeing where things went wrong, where we were perpetuating perhaps victim mentalities, perhaps shame and guilt that we were unworthy, these belief systems, and we're learning from them. Okay, we're learning from these mistakes. We're taking ownership and taking a new path. All right, so what really came through was this next statement. Money matters, but does it really? What stress or importance do you place on money? Do you have a proper viewpoint and understanding? Is there a restriction in flow? And what came through was this money equals reward belief system. So this is so fascinating. Where are you surprised when you get money? Why is money a reward and not a basic need? Okay, this was fascinating. Loosen your grip and your viewpoints that restrict you. Money is always available from multiple sources. Do you view money as a reward? Do you view money as equaling your deservingness and worth? You are deserving of support wherever you are in your journey. How powerful is this information? If we have resentment with money, if we are worried about money, if we are surprised when we have money or we win something or we get something great in our lives, that shouldn't be such a shocker, right? This is the awareness we're beginning to get that we actually deserve good things in our lives. Now, once again, this transcends more than just material and financial. This is just the example that they were really highlighting this week was finances, but this may come through for us in relationships, in love. Where are we surprised when someone treats us well? When are we surprised when someone does a loving action for us or someone wonderful comes into our lives that we can't believe are real? Where are we denying that we deserve goodness in our lives? Where are we denying love? And once again, where are we putting these things in our priorities, right? So I found this so fascinating how we can really misconstrue things. We are always deserving. It's just these belief systems that have been told to us that we've adopted as our own that we don't. So this is where it's so important that we remove these deep-rooted beliefs of shame and guilt. So we stop denying our worthiness. So we stop denying that we deserve goodness. And I love how they put money as a basic need. It's like, it's a need, right? It's what we should always have available to meet our needs. We need this material aspect in this 3D experience. So where have we viewed it as a reward system? Well, if I'm really, really good, if I worked really, really hard, if I save all of this stuff, if I do this, this, and this, then I should be rewarded. Then I will receive abundance. If I do all these steps, it equals this. No. You deserve it right now. Right? Where are we, once again, putting off our deservingness? Well, when I reach this goal, then I deserve. Okay, I want to keep reading because this was so fascinating. Okay, healing the wound of undeservingness and releasing the burden of guilt. No more pain and punishment. You are in pain currently. You believe still in the dogma of punishment. But you are not punished. You will learn to clear this mentality of the right way and wrong way. You are clearing judgment. All ways lead to you. How fascinating is this? No right way, no wrong way. All ways lead to you. So think about that for a moment. Every decision you made, every mistake that you made in your life, guess what? It led you to where you are. It led you back to yourself. So was there really a mistake made? No. Everything led you back to the purity of you, to you recognizing your worth and deserving this. This is where we are. We just need to open our eyes and see this, okay? So we need to practice non-judgment. There is no right way or wrong way. Stop judging yourself. So what came through was this awareness of our pain, okay? Because this has hurt us, this constant feeling and hammering of this narrative that we don't deserve anything good in our lives, that we're not where we need to be, that we compare ourselves, right, to where other people are in their stories and their success. This has been so hurtful for our hearts. And all of that shame has been gathering and gathering in the heart and in the sacral chakras. And they're showing this. It's like, look at all this hurt you've harbored over this story that you are worth nothing, that you don't deserve. Okay, so we need to express this. So express yourself fully. Let go of this pain. See that you are always deserving. Release yourself from the chains. Be free, be you. You deserve the world. Let the universe give it to you. Stop blocking your own flow. Welcome the wealth of abundance that is coming your way. How beautiful, how loving this is this week that we are getting this awareness to where we've been blocking the flow of our own abundance. where we've been blocking the flow of our own value and worth, and we're going to say no more. Okay? So this is how we're going to do it. So what came through? Money mindset. Free yourself of limiting beliefs. Money only comes if I am deserving or I've proved my worth. Okay, this is an example. So we need to get clear. What do I actually believe? Okay, what is the mentality I actually have? Not what I wish it was. We need to get very honest. So here's a couple of them, okay? Money only comes if I've proved my worth or if I am deserving. Money flows freely to me now, right where I am. This is a new one we're going to adopt. Money flows freely to me now, right where I am. See how we're switching the beliefs? So this is what we need to now adopt. So they showed me this one belief and then the new one, right? So we're completely changing the story. These are the new affirmations we're going to reinforce this week. Money flows freely to me now, right where I am. If money is not your issue, love. Love flows freely to me now, right where I am. I am enough. So keep enforcing this week. I am enough. I deserve right now. I welcome abundance, love, happiness, joy right now. So what came through was to call in Archangel Michael this week to really help you do this, to remove these toxic belief systems, to cut cords to these beliefs of unworthiness that are keeping you held back. Okay, we need to release this so we can really step into our authenticity and our worthiness. Okay, so become aware of these patterns of self-punishment and put in an action plan. This is being so proactive. When these beliefs show themselves to us, when we get triggered through life, through events, how are we going to react? Okay, we need to have an action plan. Say no to belief patterns and only rewarding yourself when you've become resentful, given up. Okay, this is super interesting. Some of us can have this, once again, this defeatist attitude that can come in. So an example of this is like when you aren't able to ever really save money or keep it, right? And this can be a really subconscious thing that happens. So say we do get some money and we're like, oh my gosh, I've sacrificed, I've beat myself up so much over money, never having money. Now I finally have a little bit of money. I'm going to reward myself. I'm going to do something nice for myself. I'm going to spend it all. And then we end up back in the same pattern where it's like, well, now I've spent all the money and I'm right back where I started. And then we re-shame ourselves and we re-loop the cycle. Okay, this is the example they're giving me. So what can happen is when we restrict ourselves for so long, we're desperate, we're hungry, we want something good in our lives because we've restricted goodness in our lives for so long. So this is where they're saying, stop restricting yourself. Stop waiting to give yourself good in your life, because this is what's perpetuating this negative cycle of spending everything you have as soon as you have it because you're resentful. I resent that I've had to wait so long before I can have any reward in my life, right? See how this is coming in. So be very mindful of those patterns, right? Where am I withholding goodness from myself? Where am I so withholding and restrictant and critical of myself and my journey that I am restricting anything good? Okay, so this transcends, once again, money. This can come into our beliefs around fitness, food, our lifestyle, friendships, love itself, right? Where we restrict things so much that we become desperate. We need it because it's like, I haven't had it for so long. I need something to hold on to. I need something to make me feel good again. So to stop this pattern, to break this pattern, give yourself good. Every day, reward yourself in some way. And I'm not saying go and spend a bunch of money or do things that are unhealthy for you in the long run, But I'm saying, what can you do to fill your love cup right now? How can you meet your needs right now? Because if you meet your needs every day, you're not going to be doing these patterns anymore. You won't need to. There'll be no need because you're filling your cup, right? So notice the exchange of power. This was the next advice. Does money hold power over you, or do you hold power over money? So where have we put money so high above us that the power is there? It's not our own anymore. Where it's like, okay, well, hopefully money will fall in my lap. Hopefully these things will come. And what have we just done? We've given away our power. When we're in our power, we know, we're confident, we feel emboldened by life, right? So this is where we need to be. Put money in the proper place. Put whatever this is for you in its proper place. It's just an energy. Of course, all my needs are going to be met. Of course, because I'm ensuring they do. I'm ensuring that I'm in my power. I'm putting that vibration out there that, of course, everything I need will be here, right? Shift the story. So self-sabotaging tendencies. Okay, this was another one they wanted to bring to our awareness. If I take this course, I will be better. I finally then will get more money and be more deserving. Okay, this is like so dead on for so many of us. How many of us are fed the story that if we continue to improve ourselves, then we'll be worthy, then we'll be deserving. Well, if you take this course, then you'll get the clients, then you'll get money, then you'll be deserving. No. You are enough right now. Okay? You are enough right now. Do the healing work to open up the flow to love. You are already deserving. How amazing is this? So once again, getting very highlighted. Now, these are very specific scenarios that some of us have needed to hear, okay? That's why I've included that in this reading, because somebody needed these messages. So please take what resonates and apply this to whatever this is for you that's bringing up this element of shame and self-sabotage, okay? So please apply this to your personal situation. But where do we need to be enough? Where do we need to stop this tendency of trying to fix and be better? Where do we need to honor where we already are and what we've already become? And where do we just need to start embodying that energy of all my needs are met? Everything is provided for me. The universe has got my back. I trust in my resiliency. I trust myself. Right? So much surrender and trust that is going to be asked of us this week. So let yourself do that. Now, what also came through was this final theme of healing our relationship with God. This was such a fascinating topic. So what was coming through is establishing what our true beliefs are. A lot of times we have this very negative connotation of God. You know, a lot of us can have this warped view. We've been taught that God is typically a male, right? This very dominating individual, we'll call God, right? Dictates good and bad, has all this power, right? We can have a very linear view to what God is. And they were showing me this example of a lot of us being repelled by that portrayal of God, right? But what was so beautiful was this week they're being very helping us see things in a different perspective and cultivating our own truth regards to God, right? So one thing I'll share for even myself was, you know, I had a very linear view of God as well. And I found when I opened my spirituality, I wasn't working with God. I was specifically trying to work with anything but my guides, my angels. I'd never addressed God specifically like I used to in my religious upbringing, because I'd been taught such a linear view of God, and I felt ashamed approaching that God that I was taught. But now those beliefs have shifted and changed, and this is what they're really bringing forward is, what God do you believe in? And how can you heal this rift between you and God, who really loves you? Source loves you. And this is going to be such a beautiful moment for a lot of us, is this coming home moment, where we recognize that once again, these stories that we've been told of what God is may not be resonating with the God you connect with, right? So we're really establishing, once again, a road of authenticity. What is true for me? And this is healing this rift that a lot of us have had with God, and the stories we've been fed about who and what God is. So what channeled was work with God, talk with God, let God inspire the way. Heal programs of the past and reshape your own beliefs of Him. You are so loved. It was just absolutely beautiful, the energy that was flowing, where it was like, God wants to talk to you. God wants to be your friend. You are His child. So connect with that energy of God. What is that for you? How does it feel to you? How can you clear all of the man-made stories that have defined what that should look like or should be? Once again, how can you free yourself? How can you free yourself and truly experience your life in the most authentic way possible? So this week we have a lot of inner work. We have a lot of clarity that's coming in. We're having a lot of beauty that is really showing the way out the door of the old and into the new. They just keep showing me like we're going through this last leg of our journey to this door, and we're opening it and we're walking through it. It's like, okay, I'm ready to close the door behind me to the past. I'm ready to close the door behind me of what has only hurt me, which has only perpetuated sorrow in my life and guilt and all these emotions that have kept me in a space of being held back from my full potential. I'm ready to be seen now. I'm ready to be loved now. I'm willing to be loved now. And I am willing to walk that path. And you should be so proud of yourself. You should be so proud of yourself for walking this journey. It has not been easy. It has not been easy for you, my friend. But I see you. Your guides see you. God sees you. We're so proud of you. Keep walking that path, no matter what. Don't give up now. You're at the last leg of your journey. And you're so supported. So supported. Every single step we've seen you, okay? Every single step. We've honored you. And we're so grateful. We're so grateful for all the healing you're doing, for all the chains you've broken, for all the chains you continue to break. Thank you for freeing yourself and your lineage. It's time to now create your own story. A story of love. A story that is purely yours. So my friends, that's all I have for this week. What a powerful reading. I really hope it resonated for you. Please let me know your thoughts below. Sending you so much love and light. Until next time, bye.